Hello beauties, we're back for another To Buy or Not to Buy. In these videos, I try to convince myself and you that we should buy less makeup. And I talk about new makeup that is released. If that sounds good, press the like button and let's get started. I'm going to continue doing an eye look with this palette because if you watched my last video, I already mentioned this palette has a lot of deep tones. I am going to complement it with Dragonfruit from Clionadh. You all remember this one? This was in collaboration with Emily Violet Marie. I'm picking this one because, well, first, Clionadh has dropped a few things we're going to talk about, and also that they have restocked this one, and they have actually changed the packaging. The packaging now is cardboard. Good job, Clionadh. I've talked about the issues I've had with this. It's like, I've barely used this, beauties, because it's a very heavy palette, and I generally don't like plastic packaging, and although I haven't used it a lot, it's already kind of broken. And if I haven't mentioned, I think this is their last restock, so I'm guessing that means they're no longer gonna have this collection. So if you wanted it and you have not picked it up yet, now is your chance. Let's get started because I don't want to spend my whole day here. So it seems like Charlotte Tilbury is teasing a new fragrance collection. I like fragrance. I'm not gonna buy because I have enough, but I'm curious to see what they have, and you know, it will be fun to smell them at Sephora and so on. But I know that at least right now, I'm not on the market for fragrance. I have plenty, so moving on. Also, beauties, I forgot to mention, we have warm vanilla candle. This is from the 12-day advent calendar from Trader Joe's, and some of the scents that are in that advent calendar come back and they sell them as individual candles, so that's why I'm talking about them. And I definitely vouch for Trader Joe's candles. They're very reasonably priced. Again, don't go buy anything you don't need, but if you want candles, if you're looking for candles, I highly recommend them. Also, something else that I like about them is that they're relatively small. I mean, this is a sampler size because it was in an advent calendar, so they're normally a little larger than this, but even their regular candles are not that big. So if you're one of those people who generally gets tired of having the same scent in the house all the time, you can have a different varieties. Our first contender is Glaminatrix. They have a whole lot of things releasing. They have their Diamond Metallic Quads, which look really nice. Glimmering Creatures Volume 3. I mean, I have the first two volumes and I frequently use them in duping things. In fact, the dupe that I posted, or my version of dupe of the Adepts Flying Fiddles that I posted a couple of days ago, has at least two of the glimmers in it. Yeah, I really like their glimmers. Don't buy anything you don't need, but that's just my opinion. And then they also now have lipsticks and lip liners. So this quad, if you want the whole thing, is $70 Australian dollars, which I was in Australia some months ago. So off the top of my head with the conversion rate, that should be 50 something dollars, US dollars. But that does not include shipping fee because it's coming from the other side of the planet. So you're going to pay some good shipping fee coming from down under, or each quad by itself is $28. Now, I think that's a little pricey. I mean, it's Australian dollars, so it's going to come to maybe 20-ish US dollars, but still, I think that's a little pricey for 4 shades, 2 of which are mattes. And the lipsticks are $24 each or $60 for all 3. That's a good chunk of money for 1 shade of lipstick. What is in a lipstick? Wax and paint. Why is it $20 each? I mean, or $24. I mean, it's Australian dollars, but let's say $18, $19. That's crazy. No. And lip liners are 20 Australian dollars or 3 for 50. I feel like, honestly, I always feel like lipsticks are a ripoff because it's wax and paint and it's usually just one color. So no. Also, I don't really feel the luxuriousness of luxury brands when it comes to lipstick compared to like drugstore brands. What's really the difference between a Revlon lipstick and a Dior lipstick. You know, there isn't a whole lot of difference in what goes in them. Yeah, the price difference is huge. And of course, the Dior one is going to come in a box and they're charging you for the fact that it's individually packaged. But really, at the end of the day, it's going to end up in a shelf somewhere and I'm just going to use it like that. The fact that it came in a fancy box doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me. So no, $20 for a lipstick is not an amount of money I'm willing to pay. But I have the first two glimmer sets from Glaminatrix, and as much as I want to tell you all, don't go buy anything, no, and you should not buy anything you don't need, but I really like those. Also, I'm looking at the glimmers, and they look so neutral. One issue that I had with the first two glimmer sets, so far they've released 12 glimmers, and the two that I have also are very neutral. So I was hoping for a lot of greens and blues and purples and pinks, and I don't see that here. So, you know, I don't want to say no, but I'm definitely saying not now. But beauties, if you're picking anything up, definitely use someone's code. Okay, that was a lot of talk on just one brand. Let me get started on the look so that we don't spend all of our day here. I'm gonna use this Glam Shop eyeshadow base that Glam Shop sent me. So I did some purchases there earlier in the year. If you've been following me, you know. And they sent me this as a gift. A lot of brands do that. If you purchase like a lot of stuff from them, they send you something for free. So thanks to Glam Shop for that. And I actually wanted to try their bases, and I even bought a pink eyeshadow base that I already tried. Where is it? This one that I've already tried in this channel. So I'm glad they sent me one of their regular ones to try, because I do want to at some point do a review of different eyeshadow bases for you all. Beauties, this one grabbed my attention. Now, I have mentioned Lethal as a brand that I would like to try, but at the moment, I'm not in the market for picking something up, particularly palettes versus single shadows, and because of that, I don't know if I would pick this up. Also, I can dupe this. I can very easily dupe this. Now, I have to say, the price is not bad. So what I have says $45 US dollars and 49 euros. I mean, I don't know why it's more expensive in euros, which for £15, I mean, compared to a lot of the prices we see nowadays, that's great. And the color range is very nice for this time of the year. I kind of want to dupe this. How do you all feel about me duping this? Y'all want to see the dupe? If you remove the greens, there is like 3 greens in this palette, and if you remove those, it's literally just a mauve pinky palette. It doesn't make sense for me to pick it up because I have these colors as singles, and I might even have palettes that are very similar, but it's a beautiful palette. If you don't have something like this and you're interested, I can understand. Also with this palette, they've released some colorful mascaras and a brush cleaner. So it looks like one of these dry brush cleaners that has a cat head in it. Now, like, brush cleaner is so cute. If I was picking anything else up, I would probably consider picking up the brush cleaner, but I'm not picking anything up, so not doing that. And when it comes to mascaras, I recently picked this one up from Mina, which is a Spanish brand. When I was in Spain, I picked this up from Primor. This is pretty nice, and other than this, I don't really need colorful mascaras. I also have some other colorful mascaras just to show you some of the ones that are on my desk from ColourPop that I also don't even use. Have y'all ever seen me use these? You haven't, so I don't use them that often. I don't apply mascaras as much, which is sort of like, it doesn't really make sense for me to pick up more mascaras. Another thing is, for someone like me, I have very dark, thick lashes, so not all colors make sense at all. Like if I wear yellow, colorful mascaras, it's gonna look ridiculous because you're gonna see the black from under it, so it's gonna yeah, I don't even know how to describe it, but you're gonna see like a thin black line surrounded by some yellow. So it's just gonna look ridiculous. So I have to use mascaras that are at least dark enough that don't look like that on my lashes, and that automatically eliminates a lot of colors. If you all have the same kind of issues, as in having very thick lashes, thick dark lashes, and you have a methodology for applying mascaras without having this, let me know. Continuing, actually, let me get started on the look. Now that we're using the Dragonfruit collection, I'm going to use some of the brushes from that collection. I'm going to go in with this one. This is Dragonfruit number 2, and go into this green. I always wanted to use this green in a look. So, and this is literally going to go in my crease. Okay, I did quite a bit of blending, but it turned out a little patchy. Now, I'm going to blame this. I think this was thicker than how much I needed. So, you know, if you saw the application on camera, I dabbed on each eye. I think that was too much. I should have done one dab, used my finger, and used the same dab for the other eye. I think maybe I applied too much. When you have too much primer that hasn't really set, that hasn't really dried on your eyes, it can make the eyeshadow a little patchy, you see? And I do have hooded eyes, but we're gonna work with it. It is what it is. I don't want to have to redo this whole eyeshadow, so we're gonna make it work. We're gonna fix this. And some of you had asked me to put my Mercari link up. Full disclosure, I haven't yet put everything that I wanted to put up after my declutter on my Mercari, and I need to do that because I was on a trip. I deactivated the account for the period that I was on a trip, but I'll reactivate it if you're still interested, and I will let you all know that I've reactivated it. I have to photo some ridiculous number of things and post them, so I haven't had that chance to do that. Notoriously Morbid has a highlighter set. I'm not a highlighter person. I rarely wear it. Also, in this day and age, I don't think there are that many people who wear highlighters anymore, but I would use these kinds of highlighter sets for highlighting the eyes. I think this is kind of cute. It's a witching hour. I think they had a witching hour before, but $40 for 6 pans, no. I'm not doing that. Don't need a highlighter that bad. Melt Cosmetics has a second version for smoke sessions. This is their 420 inspired second version, and Beaute is. First time I used Melt Cosmetics was in one of my TBONTB buys with their Halloween Town palette. And I have not used that palette since. I feel like that's enough said. That's enough said for whether I'm now going to go buy a new Melt Cosmetics palette. I have to say though, that neon yellow eyeliner has me looking. And they also have a sling bag neon. I don't need bags. I don't need anything other than makeup. Like I have everything. I actually don't have a price for anything, but that eyeliner is the only thing that has me looking. But I have enough yellow sort of neon-y liners that I don't use, that I need to add yet another one to the collection to sit on my desk and gather dust. It's beautiful, but history has told me I'm not going to use it. So, and I've also not used the 2 liners that came with Halloween Town collection. I might sell them on Mercari. They're brand new. They haven't been touched. Actually, there's a lot of stuff in that collection that I haven't touched. I told you all, I haven't used it since I used it on camera. So anything that I didn't use on camera, I haven't touched. I already talked about this next one. What I think was communicated as the last restock of Dragonfruit. I'm going to use this one from Glam Shop. This is 0100. And I'm going to mix a little bit of this blue into that green. I'm going to diffuse it on my hand because otherwise it could have a lot of fall off. These colors can be kind of dry. I'm also going to use a little bit of the blue out here. Originally I wasn't intending to use blue, but I kind of want to clean up what happened with this green, so we're just improvising right now. Okay, beauties, change of plans because of everything that happened. I'm going to use a little bit of a green matte. This is from Glam Shop. And I'm going to take a Glam Shop single. This is 0104. And I'm going to go into this matte because you know what? I decided I want to do an all matte look. And I'm going to put this here. This is a little fluffy for this. So let me go back to DF103. I used this for blending a little bit earlier. Now I'm going to use the clean side of it back into the shade. And Beauty is just, if you're curious, I'm wearing Forced Flame from Clionadh on my nails. It was from their advent calendar from Christmas, and then they released the whole bundle after Christmas, so the nail polish is available if you were wondering. That's what I'm wearing. Okay, beauties, I completed that off camera because for doing this I end up having to use all kinds of brushes. So use a little bit of this one that I had used on the blue to clean up the blue, make sure the edges are blended, but then I also had to use the Singe Beauty brush. As you can see, the head is much smaller than the Clionadh one, and I needed something small. I keep complaining about having large brushes and needing smaller ones. Which brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about, and that is that Refer is having a gigantic sale. I think it's like 40-ish% off on their stuff, and they have brought back the mini brushes as well as the max brushes. If you were waiting on those, they're now available. And beauties, I did the purchase because I keep complaining about brushes having really large heads. I needed smaller headed brushes. What can I say? What can I say? If more brands had done small headed brushes, and I hadn't realized in the past year how important it is for brushes to have a small head, we wouldn't be here talking about this today. Let's talk about this one, Surratt. I have never heard of this brand, but they have this palette, Dazzling Blues. Not really for me, and it's a whopping $102 for a quad. Not my kind of brand. I can't afford this. This is way above my budget. Moving on. Moving on before I get lured into purchasing something I can't afford. Spectrum Collection has a lot of brushes I'm not interested in. Sigma has some brushes. Soft coverage brushes. These are face brushes I'm not interested in. And they're on sale for $100. Sale price is $100. No. Moving on. Let's talk about this one. I think this is called Sirens, the collection from Mooncat. And beauties. Now that my no-buy is over, lacquers are dangerous territory. I've mentioned before, they usually don't have an expiration date. You can use them for like 20 plus years as long as they haven't dried up. Even if they dry up, you can revive them. And these brands are coming out with very cool stuff very fast. So I'm gonna scroll on because if I stay on it, I might go on the website. So let's continue. This one intrigued me because I am someone that if I have metallic eyeliners, I would probably use them, particularly if they're very metallic. I'm more prone to wear glittery eyeliners or metallic eyeliners or eyeliners that really stand out than black eyeliners or eyeliners that are a little bit more diffused and sort of aren't going to show up on your eyes as much. You all remember the eyeliners from Urban Decay, the ones that were glittery? I loved those, and I still have a few, and I just love. I used to just wear those and that like by itself, and I loved doing that, and I could totally see myself do the same with these. Now I don't have a price, thank goodness. I don't see myself go pick it up because I'm just gonna try to forget that they exist after I do this video, because I'm afraid if I go look at them on their website, I might pick something up because they intrigue me. Let's leave it at that. They intrigue me enough. We have Date or Dominate collection from Wet n Wild. This kind of an aesthetic is not for me, meaning someone who has a ginormous collection and probably 200 dupes of this. But for someone who has a small collection and someone who's very interested in neutral colors, this is nice. I like it. And I'm looking at the prices. The most expensive thing here is the multi-stick duo, which is $10. I don't know which one it would be in this photo, but I think that's nice. Okay, I promised y'all that I'm gonna use this one, so we're gonna use it. And what I was thinking about was using this one, Bubbles, in my inner corner. And Bubbles is super flaky, so it's gonna keep falling off. It's such a beautiful shade. Okay, I think I like that. The next thing that I want to quickly talk about is this new release from Makeup Beauty Shop called Simplicity, and it's 56 euros. No, it's not happening. Launching on the 20th. Now, I have used Makeup Beauty Shop. It's a pretty good quality brand. But do I need a palette that's mostly neutral colors? No. I also don't need a palette that's 60-ish euros. And probably even more if I add to that the price of transport. So not for me, but if you're curious, if you're interested, all of those things, first of all, ask yourself, do you really need it? Second, if you really need it, I mean, you're not going to need it. Come on. Nobody needs eyeshadow. We probably have way too many things similar to it. You can probably dupe it. But if you absolutely have to have it, you're buying it for a friend or whatever, use someone's code. Use someone's code. Don't buy things full price, friends. Beauties, this is Shaz from the future. I did the first part of this video last weekend, and a few things have released since. So I decided to just insert myself here and talk about those things that have released because I haven't had a chance to edit this video and post it yet. Also, I promised you all in the earlier part of the video that I'm going to use Dragonfruit, and I end up not doing that in the earlier look. So we're going to use it in the second look. I'm going to use this again, and I'm going to prime off camera just to save time, and I'm going to use less of it so that we can see the comparison. The first thing I want to talk about is the topic of the day, which is this collaboration between Beaute Cosmetics and Ellis Atlantis. Now, I'm always happy when I see collaborations. Congratulations to Ellis Atlantis. However, I expected something other than a rainbow palette because rainbow, I feel like I have enough rainbow palettes. And if you have blends, do you really need this? If you have primal, do you really need this? I know they have discontinued primal, but a lot of us still have them. So if you have those, now would you go drop, what is it, $66 to buy this? Now that's a good price for 45 shades. If this was magnetic, maybe I would change my mind. Unfortunately, none of Blend Bunny's palettes are magnetic, so there is no chance there. This just became available, I think, today, the day that I'm filming. There's a few cheek stuff and lashes. I don't think Blend Bunny had lashes before, so this is the first for them, I think. Again, congrats, exciting, but I don't think I'm gonna pick anything up. Also, it's the palette is giant. As I said, if it was magnetic, maybe I would pick it up. But I'm not going to reach for a 45 fan palette. Who are we kidding? Particularly when it's a rainbow palette. Adept Beauties is sneak peeking something. And it looks like it's going in between the ranges of mauves and purples. I'm getting Valentine's Day vibes. And I can't wait to see this. This is what I thought Flying Fiddles would be like. You all remember I predicted that Flying Fiddles was going to be kind of mauves and like mauvey neutrals. And I'm kind of seeing that here because that is something that they don't have in their collection today. So I'm looking forward to the reveal. Let's talk about this one, Hollow Taco's new collection. This is a new limited edition collection called Hollow Royalty. The sky blue one really speaks to me because I don't see that kind of a nail polish frequently. So very nice. I don't have a price. I'm probably going to control myself, but very beautiful. Let's also talk about this one. I talked about this in my last to buy or not to buy. At that point in time, it wasn't revealed. But this is from Notoriously Morbid. This is their Unearthly Aura palette. And I am kind of ambivalent about it. I find the swatches absolutely beautiful. But I think I can dupe this. I think I can dupe this, and I'm going to try to do that. But this could become the first eyeshadow palette that I pick up from Unearthly. Is this available? No, it's dropping on the 26th. Now, obviously, an all shimmer palette has to be used with other palettes. I wish they did magnetic pans because it would just be a lot easier to say yes to something like this if I knew it has magnetic pans, because I knew I can take them out, use them in custom made palettes. But some of those green colors, beauties. DD Signature has done a tiny sneak peek of a palette they're having. It says, are you tea or coffee? I'm both. It's called the Ultimate Cappuccino Palette. If you watch my last video where I talk about my no-buy extension plans, you know that I have some limitations. I can't just buy anything. And although DD Signature is a brand that I would like to try at some point, even without seeing the palette, I don't think it is going to be a palette that I'm going to pick up. ColourPop came out of obscurity and released this. And the reason I say came out of obscurity is because unlike last year where ColourPop was dropping something left, right, and center, they have not done a whole lot recently, right? But they are now doing this Beauty and the Beast collection, and it's giving me 2018 vibes. Neutral, pop a blue. Also, another thing that I realized is ColourPop is going back to using glitters in their palette. The last palette, what was it, Elemental, the blue one, had a glitter pan in it. What are we doing? Traveling back in time? Come on, ColourPop. And I don't know if this palette has glitters, but I would be cautious if you're someone who doesn't like glitters around the eyes, because that color Forbidden could be glitter. Same with Inner Beauty. Yeah. So they're having a rose lip mask, which I thought is cute, but I have enough lip masks that I bought from Trader Joe's, so I don't need to spend $12 on a ColourPop lip mask. Also, what's going on with ColourPop prices? What I loved about ColourPop in the past was the fact that they were so affordable. Now they're competing with all these other indie brands. The prices are so high. Is it just me? I don't think it's just me. And the Super Shock highlighter is $15. Well, first of all, these Super Shock highlighters that are large usually have a scent that gives me rosacea, so definitely no. Second, I have enough highlighters from ColourPop that I bought for $5. Thankfully, those are lip glosses, which I can say no to, and the lipsticks would have been the only thing I would be interested in, but I don't need, because I have a lot of ColourPop lipsticks. In fact, I have the whole lipstick, what was it, Princess Designer lipstick series from ColourPop. So, don't need, not gonna buy. You also don't need this. Trust me, these are generic colors, all of it. You have these. Go look in your collection. Let me get started on the look. And beauties, I am wearing Cobblestone from Clionadh on my nails. I think this is from their Earth Vibrant collection. It's one of their stained glass nail polishes. And you know what I'm going to use for brushes? I am actually going to use my Refer brushes. And I have the minis. So this is 13 compared to 13 mini. So you can see the size difference. Actually, let me quickly show you. This is number 2 and 2 mini. This one is 15 and 15 mini. This is 1 and 1 mini. Of course, the smaller one is the mini, and this is 14 and 14 mini. I am picking number 14. This is the regular one, and I'm going to go into red colors and using this in my crease. I'm now using 15 mini to blend the outer edge into my skin. Now with number 13, this is regular 13. I'm going into Garnet, and this is going out here. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about from Cosette Beauty. I don't think I've ever talked about this brand, and it seems like this is a palette of cream shadows. It's called Crystal Cream Eyeshadow Palette Phase 2. I'm guessing there was a Phase 1 to this. The palette's $42, which is kind of pricey for 8 shades. And it's an all shimmer palette that has to be used with another palette, unless you can use all of these in one look, which I know I can't, or I don't. If this is your thing, it's available. Also, don't forget to use someone's code. Shop Edge Beauty is now having binary blush cream. I don't get what's binary about this, but they're $18 each and they're only available for a limited time. $18 for a single blush? No. Moving on. For this look, I'm going to use Specular from Divina. Just a dab of it, and I'm going to put it here. You see? The palette completely separated. I asked Clionadh to send me because they had asked people if they wanted the cardboard packaging, and I asked for one over email. Hopefully they send it to me because of this. Let's use Dragonfruit, which is their very, very beautiful multichrome that was introduced in this palette. This one is gonna go across where I put that glitter glue. Now I'm going to use 14 again in this red one under my lower lash line. And I'm gonna use number 2 mini in Garnet and deepen this lower lash line out a little bit. If you want to deepen it out even more, you could use either the blue or the purple in the outer V to deepen it out more, but I'm fine with this. And to top it all off, let's use, this is brush number 3. This one doesn't have a mini. This is the regular size. And we're going to go into, is it Catassia? I don't know how to read this one, but we're going to go into that color. And this is going in our inner corner. If you don't want to use this color, you can also use Bubbles. Okay, beauties, the eye look is complete and I'm very much enjoying it. Let's talk about this one, Clarity's revelation of their new palette called Oasis. I suppose if we want to be super picky, we can say this is sort of teals and blue and silver, but realistically, this is just a monotone blue. And I don't want a monotone palette. I don't need a monotone palette. Again, if their palettes were magnetic, maybe we'd be talking, but they're not. And in my last video of my no-buy update, I have decided that I'm probably not going to buy that many palettes this year anyway. And beauties, let's be honest, you probably have this. You probably have some monotone blue palette in your collection. You do. I know you do. You probably don't need this either. Okay, beauties, I used Nude Potion from Ofra. Nude Potion generally is a little more light than I like in a nude, but I think it's fine. And this is the completed look using Dragonfruit. This color ended up being less green than I was hoping, if you see my inner corner. I'm going to put a reel of this on Instagram if you want to see more close-up. I did not experience the patchiness that I experienced in the first look with this one, so that tells me I probably used too much of it in the first look. So it was sort of sitting on my skin instead of fully blending. Let's now go back in time to the rest of my other video. Okay, beauties, I completed the look off camera and I'm gonna put in the description box below everything else that I used. Let's continue. This is gonna be our last item and I'm very intrigued for this one. And I'm so intrigued for this. So these are new lacquers from Clionadh. The name of this collection is Chaos Collection. Originally, the only color that had me intrigued was Smudge Haze. Then I saw the swatch of the other ones, Beaute and Armadillo's Night Out, and I'm like, I want this collection. I have a feeling another no-buy is in order before I spend more than I should. But that's that, beauties. With that, we come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I have a playlist for all of these kinds of no-buys, anti-hauls, and new makeup releases that you should see on the screen. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet before leaving. I love you all. Have an amazing day, and until next time. Bye!